On your marks, get set, bake.
I love that. Really like.
That is delicious.
Bakers, your time is up.
Welcome to it. It's Krème Patisserie. It's a great British bake-off podcast. It's hosted by me, the Internet's Terror 713, that I'm always hosting with also, the Internet's Nic Jew. We didn't get an intro this week. And in my notes I wrote, no intro stinks. There's too much wild shit going on this week in that tent. Probably a comedic opening probably did not seem appropriate.
I thought it was me because I like literally just watched it today, and I'm like, did I miss the intro? Like, what did they do for the intro? But I'm like, I'm not rewinding it because I'm on a time crunch. But like, it just didn't happen.
Same. Double checked. Then went over and watched the English version to be like, did they get it right? Because they have different sensibilities than us? No.
They were like on a very special episode.
That's exactly what they should have did.
Shit went nuts.
I have never, and I can't say I watched all 15 seasons of the show, but I have never seen anything like this.
This was crazy.
This show is not built to be like this. Also, a thing I learned is they say touch wood instead of knock on wood.
Oh.
Oh, girl, Georgie said that. And she's like, touch wood. I was like, what?
Whoa.
Okay.
That's new. I'm going to start using that one. I don't know if I can use it, though, because it feels naughty.
Throw the accent
out of context.
Idiot. We still have the full complement of bakers this week. So I'm going to just read you their names, just so you know. Andy is Christian, Dylan, Georgie, Jill. Fuck. Hazel, Ileane, Jeff, John, Mike, Nelly, and Sumaya. And not for long. But before we get into this week's episode, let's slide into our little news segment. Discuss some news in the baking realm, and it's this little segment. I'm gonna click play on this and watch. It's pretty sweet. I think it's pretty neat. Bakers make the world go round. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I really love that. It makes me quite happy every time the video works. That's great, but that song always a love. Not just sagging, waving my flag, and
yes, yes.
So this story is a story I bumped into on the TikToks, but apparently people have written it up a couple of different ways. People wrote it in a way that I was like, I'm offended that you said this shit, people, and I therefore would not use their version of the article. But this is from Delish, which I think might be a subsidiary of BuzzFeed or one of those type of organizations. A TikToker brought a birthday cake to a restaurant, and you'll never guess what they did with it.
Threw it away.
This is Daniel Harling on the byline here. A viral video on TikTok has half the internet wondering, where's the cake? It began when Ryan Nordheimer shared the details of a birthday dinner that took a turn for the worse when half the extravagant cake he made disappeared. So this is the story of how a restaurant in New York City ended up eating half of this incredible birthday cake that I made for my friend for his birthday, he revealed before sharing the story. According to Nordheimer, when he arrived at the restaurant, he handed the cake to the hostess to bring out after dinner. The cake was then brought to the table, a candle was placed in it, and then it was taken back to be sliced. And here's where where things get a little sour. Nordheimer explains that he was a bit confused when small slivers of cake were brought out as slices, given the massive size of the cake. So just doing some rough estimations, there were 12 of us at the dinner. If we were each served a slice of about the size of this size, or maybe a little bigger, that's going to be about half of that massive cake. Definitely not all the cake was served to us, he said. Despite his estimations, when they asked for the rest of the cake to take home, the group was told there was no cake left. Nordheimer admitted that he can see why workers would want a sweet treat after a long shift, but added that it was a little disappointing that his friend was unable to take any of his birthday cake home. And let's say the internet was far less understanding of the situation. You're being kind. The servers are not entitled to a slice. That restaurant owes you compensation, another person added. So he ended up doing a follow-up. And he's saying the restaurant hit me up. They said they looked at the security camera and nobody ate the cake and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, did they show you the video of no one eating this cake or eating this cake or whatever happened? And apparently, no, that didn't happen. They ate that man cake. I know they ate that man cake. And I know they want to be like, no, it didn't. And the people stories like, see, they didn't eat the cake. They told them they didn't eat the cake. I'm like, so they lied. Right. That's all it is. They lie. And that's just really what it comes down to. And then this one woman who was like, look, I've had 20 years in fine dining. I worked at all these kinds of restaurants, Michelin star joints, shit like that there. I'm telling you straight up, y'all, they ate that man's cake. And apparently the restaurant that this took place in is a known restaurant, whatever group. So the quality of business of restaurants or consortium of restaurants is apparently where this occurred at. And people were like, yeah, they ate your cake, my guy. And I'm like, they definitely
ate it or they threw it away.
Yeah. Or yeah. And any of those, just say that. Just be real with me, man. Y'all got accidentally ate.
My question is, did they charge him a cake cutting fee?
They, of course, charged him a cake cutting fee. Yes, they did. And for compensation, they said, dinner for two on us. This is 12 people that came to this situation.
Oh, yeah, no. Mm-mm.
It's ridiculous.
No, I think it's funny because, like, I kind of saw this on TikTok, but I didn't even finish listening to it or whatever. And I'm like, they definitely either ate the cake or they threw it away. And the fact that they were serving the party that brought the cake like tiny ass slices means they knew they was going to eat the cake or take it home or whatever.
Yeah, like it either. So I guess you got some options. They ate the cake, or they messed the cake up in a way that was like, give them what we got, and we just gonna keep moving. Either way, he said he had spent hundreds of dollars making said cake. And I'm like, this become a felony situation, bro. Well, probably not. I don't know how New York's what their level of what rises to a felony, but I'm also like, bro, this is a problem.
Yeah, you have to run me my money.
You need better friends.
Yeah, also
because you would have got ran up on. But that is our Bakers Make the World Go Round segment. It was literally about cake. Couldn't go wrong with it this go around. So we'll see what next week brings us. But let's get to the business at hand. It is Biscuit Weeks, baby. We making cookies in any other part of the world. Well, I guess it's biscuits in a lot of the world, but it's cookies in some places besides America. I want y'all to know that. So ain't just us. And we're going to start this operation with the signature.
The signature challenge this week is 12 Viennese sandwich biscuits, and they have 2 hours in which to make these biscuits.
I need y'all to know how much better it is to not have to hand edit that into an audio file every week. Because, bruh, it involves clipping the audio that we have, sliding it apart, sticking that in there, and making sure I faded at both ends. Not doing that anymore is a good thing.
You do so much editing work. Like, I had to clip some time out of our show last week, and I was like, no. And then I missed part of it, and I'm like, well, that's just staying.
Like it's in there. So it is what it is. Viennese whirls, my people. Viennese whirls are a British biscuit consisting of soft shortbread cakes piped into a whirl shape, said to be inspired by Austrian pastries, Viennese, which share the name. Hold on, I got you this name, and I got you its pronunciation. So let me give you this particular one. This is what this cookie is based on, and this cookie is based on
Spritzgebäck.
Do you hear that?
Sure did.
Spritzgebäck. And comes in various shapes with different fillings and decorations. So we get a good time had there. I was prepared for that one. I wasn't going to pronounce. I got another one that I'm going to attempt to pronounce. But
yeah, I wouldn't try. I can't even imagine what that spelled like. Some umlauts and stuff. Like,
I'm gonna throw it in the chat so you can see it.
Prue said she wanted these to taste like all of heaven, and I'm like, whatever that tastes like, I want it.
Yeah, if you can do that for me, you ain't gonna just let me paste Spritzgebäck. There it is.
Oh, Spritzgebäck. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's pronounced.
It's all good. John's up first here. He's making Irish coffee Viennese biscuits with an Irish cream ganache and a coffee praline center. Jeff is going to attempt his hand at what's the matter? Are you not feeling well? Foreshadowing.
Jeff. I was like, I'm just telling you, Jeff looked like he woke up dead that morning. Every time I looked at him, I was like, my dude don't look too good.
I cannot believe he bothered. Not bothered, but it's like, sir, you are not well
at all.
Clearly so. Coffee. He's going for a coffee and hazelnut coffee. Wait a minute, coffee and hazelnut. Oh, it's coffee and hazelnut. The biscuit is flavored as such, but with a coffee buttercream, American buttercream. They made a point to point it out like that, which, if you didn't know, it's literally butter and sugar. I don't think we had, and a little milk. In case you're wondering what the American variation of the theme is, dipped in dark chocolate. Illiane pistachio and white chocolate Viennese biscuits. Hers are going to be filled with a pistachio ganache and with a little bit of an orange gel decorated with white chocolate and crushed pistachios. Family seemed to love it. She was like, I'm about to make this orange thing because I want it to be a little something. And I was like, all right, and I see you, baby. Because I'm rooting for everybody black. It's just Christian, floral Viennese biscuits. Tarragon biscuits. Man, Christian, I be coming through with the little. Ain't that like a meat seasoning, tarragon?
Yeah. Like poultry.
But yeah, the whole thing is tarragon biscuits filled with blueberry and lavender jam. Like, and they show my man, like, they do a little pass pie, and he's just sitting there chopping something green, and I'm like, did we not learn from last week? But hey,
right,
whatever. Georgie's attempting her hand at rhubarb and custard Viennese biscuits. Rhubarb and custard powder. So rhubarb. So she's gonna two cookies, if you will, a bottom and a top. One rhubarb flavored, the other custard powder, which is a thing they sell on that side of the business, and that's what's going to flavor the individual biscuits. And she's going to fill the middle with a bit of buttercream and rhubarb jam.
She used a dehydrated rhubarb, which was your suggestion last week of how to make a fruit flavor pop.
Yeah. Nelly
rhubarb.
yeah. Last week it was supposed to have been raspberry, but this rhubarb, I don't know. Have you had rhubarb? I know I'm always
not by itself, but like a strawberry rhubarb pie.
Yeah. I think I've seen rhubarb because it's kind of like red celery, right? That's what it looked like.
Yep.
Never tasted it, and I don't think I have any real need or desire.
Yeah.
So.
It surprises me that they put it with pie.
What is it doing in the strawberry pie?
I don't remember. So either nothing great or something bad, but not too bad, because it just doesn't stand out to me at all.
Fair enough. Okay. Nelly making my first dog biscuits. Filled with a hazelnut and chocolate ganache and raspberry jam. The biscuits are piped to resemble her dog. Remember, I wrote this one out. Carocco.
Let me tell you, 80% of the words that be coming out of Nelly's mouth, I don't know what she's saying, but I love her more every time she talks.
Bruh. It was, in addition to, losing bakers this week, it was her showstopper. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a little too sincere this week to be having a little comedic opening. So
yeah.
Fair. Sumaya's up next. She's making cheese and blackberry Viennese biscuits, rosemary and lemon biscuits piped to resemble a swan, filled with blackberry and rosemary jam and goat's cheese, because that's how my man Paul and them over there pronounce it. We just call it goat cheese here in America. And goat's cheese. I don't want to disrespect, and honey buttercream, which I mean
Might go. Might get older.
I used to me and Vanessa used to hit this restaurant up that made this amazing goat's cheese tart. Fire! It was so good. We'd go back to order that. So I get down with some goat cheese. I was like, why don't she talking about she don't like it? But I'm like, she got a young palate is all. When she we're making these, she was like, I don't fuck with none of this. But my parents liked it.
And it just up my stomach like winner.
Mike. Oh, there we go. The farmer. I'm like, what the fuck is Mike? Mike is making malted brown butter and raspberry Viennese biscuits. Malt flavored biscuits filled with raspberry jam and buttercream. The malt straight from his family's farm, which I think is just extra dope. I wonder what they doing at his farm. He got the animals. You get grown. Like I want to know. I want to know a lot of these bakers' whole situation.
Sounds like a full-time farm
for sure. Andy is making PB&J Viennese biscuits filled with cherry. I spelled that wrong. Jam and peanut butter buttercream. He explains that he got this in the war. Basically, he was stationed in the Balkans. No, I don't know if he didn't say he was in the Balkans, but wherever he was stationed at, he was stationed with some American troops, and he said American ration packs came with peanut butter and jelly, and he was like, these little packs in their ration. He was so excited to talk about where he got hip to this from, and I don't know. I like Andy a lot.
Did you hear the way that Prue said peanut butter? It blew my mind.
How did she say it?
She said peanut butter. Like she emphasized butter.
Peanut butter.
Yeah. Because we say peanut butter. And she's peanut butter. And I said, oh.
South Africa's weird. I'll just pin it on that and keep it moving. My man Dylan came through with the campfire cookie Viennese biscuits. I feel like they didn't discuss enough the work. Well, they did because they really liked it. Let me tell you about it before I get there. Filled with torched Swiss meringue buttercream. My man took a bowl of Swiss meringue buttercream, hit it with the blowtorch to give it a basically toasted marshmallow vibe. And I'm like, I don't feel like it was discussed enough at the judging. I'm just saying. But also, there's also a hazelnut praline in there too. Jill, 2 desserts Viennese biscuit. I like Jill too. I like Jill's how she talks about her bakes. It's kind of fun. This is a combination of what is she? There's a key lime pie and it's a passion fruit something or other. She's basically mixing 2 desserts that she bangs, but she explained how she's a lady who likes puddings with her dinner. She's basically dessert. And she says she has a very forgiving husband who will go ahead and basically order what she wants, but he'll have one himself, so they can share. I'm like, that's all right. That's a good marriage.
One for you.
This is going to be filled with lime curd and passion fruit buttercream, kind of to make this. I think it was a pavlova. What it was, a passion fruit pavlova is what she said, and the other one was key lime pie. So she got to mix those desserts together. Hazel is aiming to make a coffee and hazelnut Viennese biscuits, golden caramel chocolate dipped biscuits filled with coffee buttercream. Well, let's judge this. Let me not say nothing yet. Let us begin judging.
Everything felt like it was just laborious to eat, but then Prue blew my mind and turned one of them sideways and bit it, and I'm like, oh, that's how you do that.
It's their job, right? So I guess we should respect the idea that they know what they're doing. But it's but every now and again you'll see them like, yeah, you know what you're doing, because that was the way to do that, wasn't it?
Just turn it to the side.
Put that bad boy to the side. John is up first. Lovely, feeling quite sweet, but it mixes well with the bitter of the coffee and the biscuit. Paul thinks that the coffee is a bit overdone and leads to a dry mouth. Okay, man, I guess. Jeff's up top. A little bit clumsy, lost some definition, And here are my notes. And that's funny that Nick mentioned earlier. Y'all, this man does not look well.
He looked like he died that morning.
They were like, that's some serious coffee. The biscuit on the other hand slightly underbaked. Jill, pretty uniform, good definition, great flavor, love the texture, melts in the mouth with a bit of a crunch, very sweet, but the curd brings it right back. Basically, just she came through. Mike wouldn't have drizzled it all over. If y'all were watching when Mike made this, he got to the end basically nearing the end of time, and he was just like, I'm just going.
He was going ham with the drizzle.
Yeah, all over the place, and it's like as opposed to trying to like a little lighter touch. And it was noted. They were like, "Yo, man, you really went a little bonkers with that," and which is funny because it comes up another time in the episode where he has to be a little more gentle with his approach, and it kind of works out better for him that time. But they're really melting your mouth biscuit. Kept it basic with the flavor, but the subtlety is king here, is what one Paul Hollywood said. So basic worked.
Yes,
Nelly. I want over and over again. I want to say it to y'all. Love this woman. Is this where they showed the picture of her as a kid?
I think it was in between these two challenges, but is this when she was talking to oh boy and he was like, "Where are you from again?" And she was like, "You're the love of my life," and you forgot where I'm from.
So So they show a picture of Nelly as a child, and Nelly is the same human being now.
Just smaller Nelly versus adult size.
It's insane. It's like you didn't change it all. So,
and her kids look just the hell like her, but just kind of tan.
This is the second time in a row I'm like, that little boy a brat. I can tell. Like, he can get it, daddy can eat it. No, he can't. I'm eating that. I'm like, you little pissant. Get out of here. Of her Viennese whirls, clever, but not neat. But you can see it's a dog, so it's cute. And she was like bugging out. Remember, her raspberry didn't come through last week.
Right.
So she was really present in mind to be like, I hope Paul tastes the raspberry this week. And so she's waiting there. He's like, do you taste it? No, she said, do you feel the raspberry? And he's like, feel the raspberry. You know what I mean? Do you taste the raspberry? You know what I'm saying? And he's like, the pecans come through, the chocolate comes through, and indeed, yes, the jam comes through. The biscuit dough is really good, melt in your mouth, but crisp on the outside. So that Nelly's Viennese whirls came through pretty much. Dylan managed to get amazing definition and a neat design. Everybody else did circles, y'all, and Dylan went cylindrical. No, yeah, I guess so. It's how you want to look at the shape of his.
Well, what's her name made like a bird?
Yeah, but it was still a circle. The bird part of it was just sticking that neck on that bad boy.
That's true.
So, yeah. So dipping looks good. A very tender, lovely biscuit. That's such a descriptor, right? Tender. Paul loves the praline, and buttercream is silky smooth. Really good, multi-layered and delicious. This is the one that Prue had the whole gangster style to eat. It's going for the kill shot. Georgie, I don't think they look tremendously appetizing. Disagree. I like that pink with a little speckled look into it. I thought it looked very cool to me, but that's fine, Dame Prue. But it needed way less filling. That bad boy is so packed with filling, Prue couldn't bite down on it. She literally had to pull it apart to eat it. So for that situation,
and the freeze dried rhubarb or whatever did her no favors.
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't. Again, they didn't bring it up. Same thing, like I said, they didn't say anything about that. They didn't say anything about my man toasting his meringue, which I think probably brought something to the table. So, but
I think Prue said it was like bitter was the only thing she said about the rhubarb was kind of bitter or something. Yeah. She said.
Christian, man, this is a fun one. On first look, Prue I don't think a mouthful of dried lavender is going to be very pleasant.
I'm with you.
He basically just kind of, we'll see. But after having a bite, she thinks Christian is quite the alchemist. It's really interesting and delicious, and she wasn't expecting that. Paul thinks, of course, because Prue said something nice, Paul got to come in like, hold on now. Mm-hmm. Paul thinks the biscuit is a bit tough, but they taste amazing.
Shut up. But what an amazing compliment to have someone call you an alchemist.
Yeah. especially when they were, because she came in doubting them first. Yeah, all first too. So, Ilian's next. Little flat, lost some definition. A lot of pistachio, but oddly enough, you can't really taste it, which I don't even understand. If y'all saw the amount of pistachio that was in this, it seems to defy logic that it shouldn't be tasting. Maybe it's just a poor batch of pistachio themselves. Maybe them nuts just weren't tasty or whatever, but it's crazy. Sharpness from the orange, though, comes through it. It's delicious. Difficult to identify the pistachio. It's nice. It tastes good, but feels more like a traditional biscuit than a Viennese. I guess you just take that feedback and run with it. Your boy Andy coming through. Done a really good job. Good definition, all the same size, all the same color. They look pretty neat. Cherry with the peanut is delicious, like really good. And the Viennese is one of the best Paul has had in a long time. Prue doesn't like peanut butter, and she thinks they're wonderful. That's a win to me. And I felt like
not eat peanut butter and jelly over there.
Not everyone, but it is not as big as it is over here. So I feel like the younger people who have had it in their life longer get down on peanut butter more than older people do.
Yeah.
Hazel, whew, buddy. That biscuit isn't baked. It's soft. It's quite chewy. Something's missing from that recipe.
Sugar?
There's no sweetness because she forgot the sugar when she remade them biscuits.
Oh my God.
It was here that I knew Hazel's ass was going
the hell home.
There was no other way around it. Yeah. I worried not for anyone else in this episode. I was like, that lady going home. She forgot the damn sugar in the cookies. You can't stay.
Imagine biting into a cookie with no sugar.
What is that at that point?
Like, I don't think there's anything I could compare it to.
No.
A cracker, a really thick cracker.
Yeah, that makes sense. But then it's gonna have a weird texture. I don't even know. Boom. Sumaya is up next, or bringing in the rear, I guess. Love them. So cute. The definition is there. Beautiful. The blackberry really works with the cheese. It gives it a nice sourness that balances out the sweet of the berry. A little triumph and funny as well. Y'all had to see these. And again, I'm always assuming y'all watch this because I'm saying if you listen to this show, she made swans by making the Viennese words like you traditionally would. But then she baked little with using the same dough, little swan heads, and then attached them, and she set them up, vertically. That makes sense. Yeah. So they're standing there, all a whole little platter of swans just standing there. I just thought it was really, really well done. And so I gets down with that. But that being said, let's head on out to our technical.
The technical challenge is set by the Baroness of Biscuits.
Fire.
They are to make a batch of 12 mint cream biscuits. They should consist of a buttery biscuit topped with a smooth peppermint cream and coated in tempered dark chocolate, and they have 2 hours.
I looked these up, and now I kind of want to find them to try them because I like mint like this. They like
me too.
Let's see. Mint cream biscuits are apparently a classic. Tell my own little bit of commentary there. A classic British biscuit, which consists of a circular base of shortbread biscuit, topped with a creamy mint layer and covered in tempered dark chocolate. In this case, they're going to do milk chocolate. Imagine, if you will, the innards of a York peppermint patty sitting on top of a cookie and then cover that whole thing in chocolate. I need
I need it. I need it in my life.
And then I look it up, and of course they do, like Paul was describing, and indeed they do come wrapped in green foil. And I'm like, that's so cool. I want it. So, but who can call it? Jeff is still not 100%. And before this technical was complete, he just left. He's like, yeah, I can't do it. He started mixing up. At least you see him sifting his flour and stuff like that, and whatever. But my man don't get beyond. He don't even start preparing the dough. He got that far and was like, I'm gonna chill for a little bit. The bakers are like, hey man, you good? You good? Like, I'm just having my cup of tea. I'm gonna be all right, man. Don't worry. And eventually he just walk off the set. And
I rewound it. Like, I'm like, what happened? He just was like, nah, I'm done. I've had it.
Bruh. It means he was sick when he got there.
Mm-hmm.
Off rip. Because, like I said, he couldn't even do the next day of technical and Showstopper. So he comes back the next week. But, saying he in his 60s. I'm not saying he ain't or anything like that. Been in his 60s and sick. It's like, it's probably just kicking the shit out of him. He's just like, I can't do this. All I'm going to do is make whack shit and end up getting kicked out anyway. So I might as well just go out on my own terms and be easy. And I got to respect it.
And I'm two minds. Like, first of all, the first American in the tent just quits. Doesn't sit well with me.
Thanks.
But then on the other hand, like every year that I get older, the nope in me grows stronger and stronger. And I would definitely go somewhere that I've paid money to be at. People are there too. And like immediately the nope comes over me. And I'm just like, I'm leaving. I'm about to go. Sorry.
Like, I'm good. I know what this is. I understand myself as a person enough to be like, it ain't for me this time. And
I wonder if he had some digestive issues.
That's true too. You know what I'm saying the belly was belly, and he could have been like, nah, bro.
You got the runs and stuff. You're not trying to be like, like this. Let me go home.
Yeah. So remember, this would have been, or it was quite possibly going to be a double elimination week. Right. There was your one. There's your first. Well, whatever. I've explained you. Basically, you know how technical works. I can't tell you much more than this. What they're supposed to do, and their instructions are basically like, do that. And they was all like, what? So a little bit confusion on Dylan's part. He's like, they're like after 8, right? And then Alan is like, nah, baby, ain't no biscuits in the after 8. He's like,
right.
Basically got to hump his shoulder like, I'm sorry, man, and I don't know what I'm doing. And we gonna, yeah, that shows is all I'm saying.
Everybody was cracking me up trying to figure out how much peppermint to put in it, and then they would be like tasting. Nelly was like, "Oh, that's just awful," because she put a gang of peppermint in her.
Oh, girl, Georgie come through and freestyle and she put something in. She's like, "Put that." Yeah, because Nelly just straight up poured it from the bottom. Mm-hmm. Like we just go hit it like that. Whereas Georgie was like, "Well, I'm gonna put a spoon in. Let me hit another spoon off in the face." And so I was like, y'all, I don't know. Because, like I said, we're told this is a classic British. Everybody know what these is, but then none of them people be knowing what it is,
right? And I think it's like, I guess it's one thing to I've tasted a Reese cup my entire life. I couldn't fucking make that shit, but I'm not a baker. I don't bake. That ain't me.
Could I whip a Reese? No, I mean, I guess if you gave me everything I needed.
Yeah.
And was like, hey, man, can you whip a Reese up? I mean, maybe.
I don't think I could. Even if you gave me a recipe, I'd be like, no. That's
the thing. If you let me freestyle, it'd probably turn out better than if you gave me the recipe. I'm be like, oh, man, I don't know. Let's go ahead and judge this operation. Mike's up top. Looks nicely. Well, if you don't know, the technical is judge blind. The judges don't know who has baked what's in front of them. And Mike is up front. Looks like nicely tempered chocolate. It's got a great shine. The spinning, now what they mean by spinning is him basically piping chocolate gently this time and not like a fool. Good and quite neat, which means he can do it good and quite neat if he just takes his time and not bug out at the end. Delicious, tastes good, lovely thin chocolate as well. The biscuit is really tender and love the mint flavor. You know how much mint my man put in there? 1/4 teaspoon, the least amount he could pull off. It's probably the right amount. In fact, it was the right amount.
Yeah, he was like, "This is the smallest I can measure."
Nellie's up next. Chocolate looks dull. Pretty neat though, and it tastes good. So that worked out, which is crazy because, like I said, in her case, basically
put it all in there.
half a damn bottle of mint. So it's like, I don't know. I can't call it. Dylan, this is a y'all. My man's had no clue as to how to get these things coated in chocolate. So then he's like, do I just pour it on there? Do I just like spoon it? I mean, it just like, imagine, I don't know, just a car wreck. It was bad. This is a disaster. Chocolate's too thick, and the chocolate was clearly cooling as it was being put on top of the biscuit. It's like a half an inch of chocolate. It took Paul all his strength to split that bad boy with a knife.
It was like hacking into that thing like it was a big old tree or something.
But that little mint part that he was worried about was very smooth and well done. Mm-hmm. Ain't that a blip? The part he was concerned about the most, he got done well. So, Jill, some nice shine to it. Really good shortbread, melt in the mouth, tender. Tender being bandied about a lot this week.
Mm-hmm.
Samaya looks neat. A lot of mint flavor. Nice. It blends together the chocolate with the chocolate and the mint, and the biscuit's good. Can't go wrong with Samaya's version of this. Hazel, they like the proportion of this. The mint patty to cookie base, but the mint patty was in itself a bit grainy, meaning because it wasn't properly mixed. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be silky smooth. They were so adamant about that. And the biscuit, of course, a bit tough. Because I don't think Hazel can bake, y'all.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think I love Hazel down, but I think maybe her personality got her on the show.
Her nails was on point. You see when they got a close up of the man? I was like, okay, girl, I see you. Her makeup be on point, her eyelashes. Like Hazel was doing the thing. So respect.
As cute as she wanted to be. But even she was like, none of my bakes have worked out since I got here. Like, none of them, girl. Not a one.
Oh my gosh. Christian, not much shine on these. A bit of a mess. Spinning not very good. They've been manhandled, which is why it lost its shine. But it is a nice thin coating of chocolate and a lot of mint. Christian does not like chocolate and mint, and therefore couldn't taste his recipe to see if it was working. And at one point, Allison came through and was like, "Oh yeah, that's fine, bro." And he's like, I almost gagged. I'm like, "Come on, man, chill." Oh my gosh, Georgie, not much shine on these. They like the mint though. The flavor is okay. The look, not so much. A bit clumsy on the spinning of the chocolate. It's too thick. John, they're nice. Really nice looking, thin, a bit of a shine, all the same size. Proportions look quite good. Prue loves the texture. Paul agrees. They're nice. Ilion, messy. Look like top hats. It'd be the best little disses. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see what you're saying, baby. But all the textures are good. It just looks a mess. Fair enough. Y'all. Despite how bad I just told y'all how Dylan did, I truly think Andy did worse. And I feel like Andy probably should have came in last. A disaster, clearly assembled in a hurry. The biscuits are quite literally, y'all, sticking to the tray. But it's a real crumply biscuit. Very smooth mint cream. Just a bit of a mess, that one. They take the plate at the end, right? And hold that bitch upside down, and none of the cookies come off of it. They only got one cookie loose from it to try.
Paul had like slammed his hand on the table and one popped up. He was like, I got one.
Terrible.
Shit was glued to the bar because he was dipping the chocolate and then putting it chocolate side down where the instructions clearly said chocolate side up. So he literally just glued them shits to the board.
I don't. And he caught himself. Let's say like how about still? I feel like he caught himself like 6 in.
Yeah,
it's like, well, just stop. Maybe wipe that board off. Do
He
something, baby.
Instead of wiping the board off, he just put the cookies back in the chocolate that was already there. So he just glued. Well, now you know if you need to glue something down, tempered chocolate.
Facts. The ranking is as follows. In 11th is Dylan. Dylan, they look a mess. And Dylan just like, Andy. Oh, this is where they hold the tray upside down, the biscuit stick to it. And then basically enough said. Georgie's in 9th, Ilian's in 8th, Nellie's in 7th, Christian's in 6th, Hazel in 5th. Just telling you, just wow when you think about that. You heard me say what I said about Hazel and still she came in the middle of the table. Jill is 4th, Samaya is 3, neatly done, tastes great. John, pretty good, very neat, good shine on, just not as good as first place, which was last week's last place technical is this week's first place, and that is Mike. Very close to John. Took a while for them to agree on who was first place. So that's actually pretty square to me. I like that a lot. That was our technical, people. Let's head on over to our showstopper.
Showstopper challenge is an edible puppet theater. Did not know what the hell Allison was saying. I had to rewind it. I was like, a popping theater? What is she saying?
Puppet theater.
Puppet theater. And so it's a biscuit scene complete with edible puppets. And they have 4 hours.
Which I know I chose that gay cake at the end there with massive intentionality. Everything I do was with some real like that. I'm like, yes, that's the one. Has to be there. We support our queer folk.
Happy Lesbian Visibility Day.
See, I didn't know that. That's how good we are. Mm-hmm. The world, the universe knew and guided the operation. Nick, were you showstop this week?
Yes and no.
Same.
It's like last week. The ones who did it. And the ones who didn't, they did.
This was one very challenging to write notes for because they were trying to, in that little bit of time where they normally would try to describe you what something's made of, they instead have to explain to you the ideal that's being presented.
Yeah.
So then I have to, where I normally get most of the information from right there, I have to go and then wait until they actually go get judged, and then they explain what they did to it, and I go back in my notes and I like scribble some more down and so forth and so on. It's a little back and forth. It's a bit of a challenge, and you're about to get a lot of extra notes here. This is where I'm about to hit you with a lot of stuff here. But Andy's up first. Calls it "If Pigs Could Fly," Biscuit Puppet Theater. And when my man said this sentence, on its trotters up the A12. Talking about a pig that escaped the back of a truck running down the A12.
There was so much that I missed culturally this challenge. I was like, I don't know what the hell they talking about.
I just like they call feet or leg trotters on its trotters. The puppets will because these are puppets. So you're gonna hear me say puppets a lot because these people are actually making puppets. Are gonna be made from a lemon iced Shrewsbury biscuit. The stage from a ginger nut and sumac, aiming for a bit of a Middle Eastern flavor. He picked up from a holiday in Tel Aviv. You have to see that story get told to see that. It's so funny. And he's going to make some brandy snap curtains. We talked about brandy snaps last week, so you're hip to that. But let me tell you what a Shrewsbury biscuit is. It's a classic British dessert named after Shrewsbury, the county town of Shropshire. Again, these are names that actually exist and not words I'm making up. Shropshire. Shropshire. Shropshire? Whatever.
Sure.
They're made from dough that contains sugar, flour, egg, butter, and lemon zest. Dried fruit is often added. In this case, he went with currants. Shrewsbury cakes can be small in size for serving several at a time, or a big old one for serving as dessert in themselves. Sumac, just picked this up. I want you to know, Sumac was not in these notes before I started this show. My kid just was like, "Oh yeah, you got to make sure you tell people what sumac is." I'm like, "Oh, thank you," because he asked me what is sumac, and I'm like, "You know what? I don't think I put that in my notes. And if you're asking, somebody else might be."
Mm-hmm.
Sumac is a spice that's popular in the Middle East. It's related to the poisonous shrub by the same name, poison sumac.
Nick joint.
But hold on, don't know what happened, but okay. But the culinary variety is safe to use and easily identifiable by its vibrant red berries. Poisonous sumac is white. So there you go. Now you got an answer to what's going on there. The berries are turned into a coarse powder and sold as a ground spice. The berries are also available whole, although it's much less common in the U.S. Sumac is a versatile seasoning that adds a bright red color and a tartness similar to lemon juice to a dish. And that's why he was saying he wanted to add the citrus notes of sumac to this situation. So, word to Andy for knowing his shit. Christian, finding home biscuit puppet theater. Christian Showstopper, this is my own commentary, is wildly intricate and challenging to explain because it's made of multiple types of biscuits, including a coconut macaroon, Dutch bitterkoekjes. Told you I'd have one that I pronounce myself.
There you go.
Which are the stars part of it. And the stage is speculoos, which is not to be confused with speculoos. Speculoos, well, we'll get you there. And grapefruit and saffron spritz curtains, spritz biscuit curtains. It's like you see all these components, and now I got to describe all of them to you. Dutch bitterkoekjes, also known as almond macaroons or just macaroons in some parts of the world, delicious. Apparently, that they describe as delicious. I've never had them. Delicious that have a unique taste that sets them apart from traditional cookie recipes. They are made with ground almonds, sugar, and egg whites, giving them a slightly bitter flavor with hints of sweet almond. Speculoos. So again, speculoos is Biscoff. So you know what you're doing there. Speculoos is another type of spiced short crust biscuit baked with speculoos spices, which originate from the county of Flanders territory in the present-day Belgium, France, and the Netherlands. These are not to be confused with speculoos, which, like I said, we know is Biscoff. Spitzgebäck, or spritz cookies, basically. But Spitzgebäck cookies are simple cookie made of flour, butter, sugar, and eggs. Somewhat dry, but incredibly buttery and delicious. They're very common in Germany, and it's a tradition for a lot of families to gather around and bake them during the Christmas season. They get their name from the German word spritzen, which means to squirt, fitting because the cookies are shaped by squirting the dough through a cookie press or pastry bag. In this case, he's drawing curtains for the stage on a layout he has to then bake and then hang on the theater. It's very impressive. Georgie's making a Welsh festival biscuit puppet theater. Lemon lavender gingerbread stage decorated with leeks and daffodils. This is piped leeks, not actually. She's not putting actual onions on this thing, but she meant to draw them along with a cinnamon, chocolate, date, and walnut Welsh dancer puppets. John is making Johnny and Stanley's Welsh Adventures biscuit puppet theater. This is a honey and chili gingerbread stage with orange zest and cinnamon puppets. Hazel's trying to make Punch and Judy biscuit puppet theater and orange and chocolate chip shortbread theater with a cherry and almond shortbread beach. We'll get there. I won't go no further. Dylan is making a Rabbit in the Moon biscuit puppet theater. He's going to make these. He's going to make giant by standard macarons that are going to be filled with yuzu and mint, and then another set of macarons that's going to be filled with whiskey and a miso caramel or caramel, however you pronounce it as you will. But you gotta say caramel. Just want you to know that, even though I'm looking at it and it is spelled caramel, but it's what it is, baby.
I've never said caramel a day in my life except for today. Caramel. He's also making some sugar biscuit puppets made with roasted soybean flour. Just like, and they say soya over there, S-O-Y-A. They add a letter for some reason. Jill is making the Gingerbread Man biscuit puppet theater. It's a gingerbread stage with vanilla biscuit puppets.
Real simple, real to the point. And I dig that for her. Mike, Go Farming Biscuit Puppet Theater. It's a gingerbread stage. It's going to make puppet. So I had to look up what the sticks that hold the strings that go to puppets. Those sticks actually have a name. They're called controls. So he makes biscotti puppet controls, along with crystallized ginger in the puppets themselves, and some Florentine stage curtains. Guess what? Here's where you learn what Florentines are. A Florentine biscuit, or simply a Florentine, known in Italian as biscotto fiorentino, is a sweet biscuit of nuts and fruit. Florentines are made of nuts, typically hazelnuts and almonds, and candied cherries mixed with sugar, melted together with butter and honey, cooked in an oven. They are then coated on the bottom with chocolate, which is traditionally scored in a wave pattern with tines of a fork for decoration. Other types of candied fruit are used as well. They typically contain neither flour nor eggs. Now, what Mike is doing in this case, this is what he's making his stage curtains out of. He's making the Florentine biscuit. It's really well done. Ilian is making Strawberry Fields Forever puppet biscuit theater. It's a rooibos and orange sugar biscuit stage with strawberry shortbread. There's strawberries, as in there's shortbread cookies made to look like strawberries. I don't believe they're flavored with strawberry, on a toasted coconut and chocolate soil bed. Rooibos is a tea derived from the Aspalathus linearis that grows in South Africa. If you might have had rooibos tea before. I have. It's kind of a reddish in its color and kind of medicinal, kind of minty medicinal in its flavor profile. I'm not a big fan of rooibos. I've had it, but I don't know. And who knows? You make that bad boy with some orange and some cookies, it might be the hit. Look, y'all. Nelly get a little real, and I'm about to get a little real to describing y'all Nelly's situation, which is going to be, could be slightly uncomfortable for you, could be sad to you. But this is her lived experience, and she wanted to tell a story, and it's both kind of wonderful and also so sad at the same time. Nelly's making a forest dance biscuit puppet theater. This is going to be some shortbread stars with boiled sweets melted to give it kind of a stained glass look. It's like, you boil your hard candy, imagine if you will. They basically some Jolly Ranchers beat them bitches into a powder and then they'll melt in the oven and you'll get a stained glass look. She's making the stage is out of gingerbread and she's using this lemon icing to make it. And when we talk about the judging, well, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about what everything represented there for.
Yeah.
Samaya was making an enchanted garden biscuit puppet theater. Lemon zest and poppy seed stage and cardamom and cinnamon wheels. See how brief that description was for Samaya's? But when you see it,
man,
yeah, that's life. It's just wild, y'all. Let's judge this output. Jill's up first. The design is exceptional. Decorating with just piping is clever because guess what? Jill is good at it. Neat as a pin. The gingerbread stage perfectly baked. Unfortunately, it's going far too harshly. I want you to know. The vanilla character biscuits are just a bit tougher, but good flavor.
Now, Jill's was cute. It was fine. And then they.
They're in this particular showstopper. It was just levels to this shit.
Mm-hmm,
Jill, great. Hey, that looked great. I'd enjoy it. I could have it on my table.
Mm-hmm.
Then Mike come through with his whole setup. Clever. Ginger comes through. Florentine curtains are a bit chewy, but the flavors are all right. And it's like two different sports.
My dog made curtains, like folded pleated curtains out of cookies.
Bruh.
Biscuit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Andy's up next. So it's all awkward, but all the elements are present.
I didn't know what the hell it was.
Andy's was supposed to be a story of him driving to work, a back of a truck opening up, and a pig escaping from the back of that truck, running down the A12. I have no idea where the A12 is located in the whole of the UK. And he just thought that story was funny and thought, I could bake that. And he did.
Yeah.
He did. And they're like, hey, man, the side there is cracked. He goes, oh, yes, it's an old theater. And I'm like, funny boy.
It fell and broke. It's representing an old theater. It worked.
See, that's the age of the art we're working with. The sumac does indeed give it a nice little citrus flavor that Paul enjoys. And Prue loves the Shrewsbury biscuit. Well done. Georgie's up next. It collapsed a bit, but that's because it's underbaked. Like, it was obviously underbaked too, just so soft. Nelly actually explained why she was making hers that you got to just go ahead and bake that bitch hard. And because it's the only way you got, because it's structural. It has to be. It's what you have to do. And these other bakers, everybody who comes through with me telling you it's underbaked, is they just weren't confident in their product enough. They weren't confident enough to leave it in the oven for that extra 2-3 minutes that it needed to be in there. And maybe they'll learn from that. Learn that lesson. Prue likes the piped daffodils, but wonders where the leaks are. And then George has to explain, hey, not everything made it on the deck. The dates come through on the puppet cookies real good. But the stage, of course, is slightly underbaked. The gingerbread stage, on the other end, is delicious, but everything's just basically slightly underbaked, but the flavors are spot on, all of it. John's up next. Could have gone with a little more detail in the figures. The orange comes through lovely. Again, different sports, because John's not whack, just not as good.
Yeah. It was fine. Yeah.
The orange comes through lovely, but the biscuits themselves are quite tough. The stage is beautiful, tender and crunchy. The chili levels in it are perfect, so they appreciate the stage portion of the program, not so much the puppet part of that. And then you get this, and then it's just like, okay, there's only 2 left who can do anything at this level, and this is one of them. Samaya comes through,
bruh.
She was painting that bad boy. It was absolutely gorgeous. I'm not saying, because Nelly was painting hers too.
Yeah. Nelly was pretty as well.
Yeah. Sumaya, you are very artistic is how Paul begins this. The colors on the backdrop are beautiful. And the fact that this theater is mobile amazes Prue.
Yeah.
Then bad boy got wheels and can move.
That, like, the cookie wheel, the biscuit was a wheel and it rolled. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. Delicious. Then Paul takes a bite of one piece and exclaims, "The lemon only to be corrected." And she's saying, "Ain't no lemon in that one." But he like, "What you mean ain't no lemon in it?" And then Prue's like, "No, it is lemony." So, and he's like, "I know." So there's a little back and forth, and she's like, "Look, I ain't putting no lemon in that part. So if you taste the lemon, I don't know what
it is."
But he's like, "I like that. It's doing it for me." So, you know what I'm saying? Take that. It's amazing, and it goes well with the cardamom, and they work beautifully well together with that lemon. The back part of the theater, he said, the only complaint is just a bit thick, but the design and artistry are fantastic. And then at the front of this theater are these swans that she painted and cut out, and just Prue was like, "Those swans are exceptional." No, exquisite. Forgive me. Nelly's up next. So beautiful. There's real thought there and depth to it as well. Wonderful colors. The shortbread melts in the mouth. It's a nice flavor. Paul likes the sharpness from the lemon on the icing. The whole design is exceptional. Nelly's design is a forest, a dark forest you have to go through to make it to the light at the end of the tunnel. She's explained. She in this is basically her husband and her 2 boys. But she also has these 5 stars. I explained to you shortbread that was made with like the candy to make the windows. And she explains those are basically babies that she has lost. And she's like explaining in detail, like, "Yo, look, I carried them. They never made it, but they're always going to be a part of me. And they deserve to be in this image of me and my family because they are a part of me and my family." And I'm just like, yo, that's
like, what a lovely woman. 5 miscarriages. Like, I thought that sunset feature that she painted was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. You need to see it. Yeah. I know I reiterate that, but I'm going to just keep doing it. If you are not watching this, you're missing out on a good portion of what we're describing, and you kind of need to see it. Me and Nick have told you this. We bang with Nelly. She's wonderful. And I really like what she does and brings to the table. Oh yeah. Just as they finished and called times, Ilian fainted.
Passed smooth out.
Just on the floor.
The deck. What the hell?
And they are picking her up and they're walking out. She goes, a handshake last week and a fainting this week. What is that? And they walk away. And basically, she's not coming back for the day. Medical team was like, no, baby, you called this one off. So basically, like, lost 2 bakers to the illness today. All right. So in her case, I truly think she worried herself to, you know what I'm saying?
Stressed.
Yeah. So Noel stands in for Ilian, which is so tremendous because of course he now has a new appreciation for when a baker has to walk up to the judges holding their bake in his hands.
It's like, this is awful.
I've had nightmares about this. The design is good, but it's missing an integral part: the puppets. Ilian had these puppets. She was like, I don't like these. Immediately pulls them off, says, I'm sorry, husband. But guess what? This is a puppet theater. You need the puppets.
Mm-hmm.
And they I'm not saying they look fantastic, but just leave them in there. They were fine.
Mm-hmm.
They were no worse than anybody else's worse. So especially when you see some of these other people's worse. Trust. The sugar biscuit has a nice little citrus tang to it, so it's a good flavor. Nice snap to it. That's what he said. Good flavor and a nice snap to it, people. Strawberry biscuits are soft, but they are underbaked. Hazel was so behind that Samaya ended up coming over and helping her do pipe work and get this theater as ready.
And she was like, your royal icing is runny. Use mine. Like what Hazel made is what I would have made. Like that's what mine would have looked like.
You would have been like, I can't make this, and I won't be putting anything on this production that will make you.
I would have walked out with oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Charming, you can see what it is straight away. but they know what that show is that it's based around, so I guess so. A bit wonky. To which Hazel explains, it's old. And Paul, sharp as ever, says, well, so am I.
Right.
Prue is disappointed that Punch doesn't look like Punch. She wanted him to have a big truncheon. A truncheon, as it turns out, is a billy club and or a nightstick, however you wish to call it.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to look that one up too. The puppets are a little underbaked. The chocolate chip and orange stage, it's a lovely biscuit but overall, it needs more time on it. And Hazel says, about another day. And Paul says, I'd say about that. I want to say probably when this is going up, all of a sudden you just hear a boom, and they swing the camera around, and Dylan's ass is on the floor. He goes, "They like, you all right?" He goes, "I was reaching for my water bottle and it fell off. It's just a little too far out of reach."
And this is when I was like, I lost it. I'm like, it's cursed. What is happening right now? Like he literally fell off a whole stool to the ground.
And he was like, they're dropping like flies, isn't it? Dropping like bloody flies. Hold on. You know what I'm saying? Because, of course, they got to throw that in there. Speaking of Dylan, he's up next. Prue loves the Hakusai painting. The Hakusai painting that you all probably know off the hand is that the Great Wave. And so that's the vibe he's going for. Paul points out the crack across the front of the theater facade. And he's like, yeah, crack, baby. What am I supposed to do? They find the soybean flour biscuits interesting, flavor-wise. The whole thing is beautifully painted. The one macaron with miso, the miso isn't very present, which I think is kind of weird because they don't like it.
Yeah.
But the whiskey's there, and it's quite tasty. The other macaron gets a simple, oh, yeah, from Paul. So he was on fire with that one. Prue tells Dylan he's so good with flavor, a great designer of story as well. Well done. Oh, yeah, I guess I should have told you about this. His was based on a Japanese fable. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's the right description. Where the moon goddess comes down to earth and it pretends to be a poor beggar and is trying to find food. And a rabbit sacrifices himself for the moon goddess. And because of that, the moon goddess sends the rabbit up to live in the moon. If you look at the moon, we all say, oh, it's the man in the moon or cheese in the moon or whatever. But in other parts of the world, they say it's a rabbit in the moon. And that's where that comes from. So it's very well done. It's kind of neat to see. Christian bringing up the rear, but baby, I don't like the way it looks when they first showed it from this little skew. I'm like, that's not right. But when you look at it as you would a theater,
man, like everyone else could have just like gone home. Like I don't like if it was a competition just about this year Showstopper challenge, he won. Like, give him the plate. We're done. The cake stand, whatever.
It's absolutely magnificent. Utterly charming, really detailed. Paul's like, I've never seen anything like this in the tent. It's very professionally done. It's wonderful. Then he gets the munching on that bad boy. The stage spice level is perfect. It snaps and there's crunch to it. It's delicious. Prue gives it a little clap when she takes that bite of it. You know what I'm saying? So you know it's hitting because that little thing.
Mm-hmm.
He gets to the next part of it, takes a bite. Paul's like, that saffron is instant. Paul walks from behind the table, walks over to Christian, daps my man up. Second handshake of the season, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Well and true earned.
He was like, come here. Come here.
I'm going to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best things Paul says he's ever seen in the tent ever in 15 years.
It was crazy. Absolutely
wonderful. Well done. That's what's up. Your star baker should have been your star baker last week too. Is one Samaya.
she was very shocked, but I was like, no, baby girl, they should have gave this to you last week. And like and it's not like her showstopper this week wasn't also fantastic.
Exactly. But she crushed it in the signature, crushed it in the showstopper, and did fair in the technical. She was a star baker, and I think they knew it at that point in time. So it was kind of obvious.
But Christian did that. He did that
for sure. Because now he becomes somebody I'm like, let's see what you do in bread week. Because you're somebody I'm looking at, my guy. The person who should have gone home did go her ass home. Hazel got sent home. She forgot the sugar and some cookies, y'all.
She knew too. She was like I said earlier, homegirl said, none of my bakes have worked since I've got here. And you know who else is probably need to step her game up next week? Georgie. Where you been, girl? Come on, Georgie. I'm rooting for you.
We'll see how this all plays out because, well, technically, I guess it already happened because we record on the night it comes on in England.
Oh, right.
What happened, y'all. Bread week over there. But that is indeed this week's Bake Off. I'm going to go delve into I got to go look at the Spotify page, see if anybody has messed with this dang poll.
Oh, responded to our polls and things.
You know what? They don't let us do questions no more. Like I put the questions in the show notes, so the question is there. If you are so inclined to answer it, please do. But no action on the poll. Sorry, people. Spotify ain't popping like that, I guess. I want to tell y'all something that I am quite pleasantly surprised by. This has been doing pretty good over on the YouTube.
Nice.
People like looking at us, apparently.
And, I'll try to remember that we're on camera. When we look crazy. I
have had to move everything here because normally it sits here,
right?
So I can make sure I'm here with this camera. And so I've been working on that, and so. But also, thank you if you've been watching this, and I hope you enjoy it. I posted once again on the Reddit, and the Reddit did get a lot of action.
Nice.
So I'm like, good. I'm glad the Bake Off Reddit is showing love and getting down with what we do over here. What should be our question of the week?
Rhubarb.
Yeah, what's up
with that? We have rhubarb pie.
And our poll, if you had to have an idea.
I think that we should ask the people, what was our man name from America? John?
Yeah. No, Jeff.
We think Jeff had COVID or the squirts. With Jeff. Because I'm going strongly for the runners.
I'm going to manage to tap that. What's up with Jeff? So I'm going to word that, and I'll figure out how to word it. And if that is not your poll, don't worry about it. We have an email address, podcast at stagecrunchyandmilk.com. Feel free to hit us up over there. We had a phone number, 216-264-6311. That's 216-264-6311. We'd certainly love to hear from you. And to hear from you, we have this week.
Yay.
And I think it's a double up. Of course, it's the big one, Frank. Frank wrote us Friday night and said, "Hello all, enjoyed episode 1 podcast up to par. By the way, this was the first time I watched the podcast on YouTube. Tell you, we're out here, baby. It is odd that the tent was cold, but I read where winter stuck around a lot longer than UK this year. So, it just held down. Biscuit Week was certainly, he had already watched Biscuit Week, because Frank always ahead. Biscuit Week was certainly eventful. I wonder what was wrong with Jeff. We as well, sir. That it's still affecting him. I know some commentators hoped he would be brought back next year. No, I'm okay.
I mean, they do that like on Drag Race, and that has been beneficial to some contestants like Miss Vanjie.
Fair. Too bad about Hazel. It was the right decision.
Yes.
Sometimes someone who can cook or bake well just end up being terrible contestants. This is that case. She can make a cake at home, and her grandbabies and family love it, but that's also because she has time. She can make it, let stuff sit, come back around, go have a cuppa, get it done in her time. But when you have to do it, 2 hours to do it, and so forth and so on, this is what you get.
The pressure of the tent, the cameras, got to it.
Yes. Poor Ilian, there must be something in the air. Correct.
Seriously.
It'll be interesting to see how the season will play out, since the episode Showstopper again relied on presentation and creating a structure. And likely that'll happen again next week, because it's bread week. The one thing I have to say after seeing this episode, you must get Nelly on the show for an interview.
I know. I wish. Yeah. That would be awesome.
After seeing her chase Noel around in the tent, she is certainly TV gold. She will be a riot. Y'all. Because she had like her hands was just covered in chocolate. And he's like, "Do you want a hug?" And he's like, and she puts her hands up, and then she just chasing around the tent. And then Georgie's like, "Those two are naughty." And I'm like, "Georgie, you wildin'." Oh my gosh. Frank hit us back today. Oh, and I actually did see this. And it's an article that basically this is a clickbait ass title. I want you to know. Basically, Sandy, the former host, was basically like working on Bake Off. She was like, "This is the longest years of my life." She just didn't like it. The headline initially that I saw was something like, and she said, I saw it in that same Reddit I was just talking to y'all about in the Bake Off Reddit. So let me see if I can read y'all what the headline said. Bake Off. Sandy Tolksvig reveals she is no longer friends with Bake Off's Noel Fielding.
Oh dear.
It's like that's a clickbaity ass article that truly had nothing to do with anything. Basically, she was like, it was a job, and we don't work together no more, so we don't talk together, talk much no more.
But they made it seem like it was beef.
Yeah, and basically, she was like, she hated working on the show because she was like, basically, I'm sitting around there literally watching meringues bake and so forth, and it just wasn't for her. You know what I'm saying? She didn't really have a rapport. Like Allison and Noel seemingly have a good time together.
Yeah.
And so it's vibes. And she just didn't have the vibes. I didn't like Sandy anyway.
I never remember which one she was.
When they first switched over to Channel 4. Older white lady.
Short
not
hair.
older, but yeah, short hair.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I saw that article of Frank, and it just like, because of course it's making around these Bake Off streets that I happen to oddly enough walk, so I'm aware of it. It's just like, yeah, y'all trying to make that more than it is, and I think she's come with a statement since, basically clarifying like, yo man, don't take that as I don't bang with my mans. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we don't work together no more. Right. It's people you don't work with no more that you don't talk to no more either. So,
but it's not beef or anything.
Yeah, of course it's not. I'm gonna have like. Yeah, stop it. Anywho, that has been this week's Krème Patisserie. It's a Great British Bake Off podcast. We're very good at what we do. I'm not fronting. I was on a Cadillac on Mars last night because we did that recording last night, and I was one of the things we talked about on the show. I talked about how very proud I am of this show because it's better than any other Bake Off podcast, and I'm not fronting when I tell y'all that. I've checked them out.
Never listened to another one, but I believe you.
I've listened, and they don't do what we do, how we do it. And so, if you enjoy it, and you know people who like get down with Bake Off, consider sharing it with them and saying, "Hey, y'all should probably check them out. They doing the dang thing." And again, now you can watch our mugs on camera talk. You can see my dining room behind me. Just relatively artistic. It's woodworks.
Sophia says hi to everybody.
Nice. You know what's up, Golden Girls. You know what's up. All right, yeah, we'll be back next week. No Nick next week.
No Nick next week.
But probably Brad next week. Unless I swap out for somebody else. I don't know who somebody else.
I might have to leave y'all a voicemail or something because it's cake week. I mean bread week, my favorite week.
How you gonna miss bread week, punk?
I know I'm gonna be when you record, I will be on Bourbon or Frenchman Street getting drunk with my people.
Word to knowledge and your folk down now. So it's all good. Show love to Aunt. You know what it is. Just because I asked you to. Do it because I asked you to. Yeah, that's it. I've gone through everything. Here we go. That is, of course, Nick Jew.
I hope y'all can't hear my loud ass refrigerator on the show. It's the bane of my existence.
My ice maker every now and again will just start running in the middle of operation. It's like, you got to deal with it, baby. I don't work in the studio.
Right.
The fact that it sounds as good as it does in this situation is crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay with 713. Can't wait to bake with you again next time. We'll see you next week. Peace.
What happened to your ass? It used to be beautiful.